Hi, I'm Jaren Davis. I'd like to present a conservation opportunity that I think is truly unique. On the east bench of Bonneville, there is a roadway that was built by a land developer that is a 1.6-mile roadway, 60 feet wide, and at an average grade of 10% or less. His ideal was to build residential housing. A very dear friend of mine, Ron Crapo, acquired this acreage, which is 160 acres made up by four 40-acre parcels. You can see it as identified by the green boxes here. The red line shows you where that roadway exists. Again, this is an amazing 1.65-mile roadway system that could be used for mountain biking, horseback riding, just trail hiking, or even taking your dog out for a walk. The blue line shown is the Bonneville Shoreline Trail's ideal pathway if there was an interruption by private land. The 160 acres is completely surrounded by the National Forest, and so the only interruption is this parcel of land. The blue trail would actually take you from Mueller Park out across this parcel and then down into the Holbrook Canyon, allowing those that want to hike the Bonneville Shoreline Trail an opportunity to stay in the mountains and off the residential streets that they're currently having to walk on. Here are pictures actually taken on the trail of the roadway system as we move from the residential area up to the top of the parcel of land. Again, 1.6 miles upward, and along the path you actually see one of the most popular venues, which in that canyon is Elephant Rock that you see there. At the top there's a spring. That spring actually feeds a small pond, and then that pond allows for significant growth. My ideal would be that this becomes a place where people can verge off of the Bonneville Shoreline Trail up to the top where this pond is and actually have some kind of a campground, yurts, or something of that kind of nature. Just to the north of this parcel, again along the east bench of Davis County, is a 153-acre parcel that's owned by the National Forest Service. This is the parcel that I'd like to identify next. Here's the 153-acre parcel. What is unique to this is that it is completely surrounded by residential, where the other parcel was completely surrounded by the National Forest. The light purple is actually Bountiful City, with the green in Davis County. This blue line is actually what is currently proposed as the Bonneville Shoreline Trail. The green line is what is currently being used by the Bonneville Shoreline Trail and those that are hiking across it. The dark line is actually outlining the gun club, the Lions Gun Club, and you'll see that that line actually interferes with the planning for the Bonneville Shoreline Trail, meaning that those that are hiking that trail would actually be walking in the gunshot area of the shotguns. Here's my thought. We take the 160 acres on the south, designate the trail system, ask to trade the National Forest Service this 160 acres for the 153 acres to the north. That way the trail systems are preserved for the Bonneville Shoreline Trail, the new trail system for Mueller Park, etc. And then we have access to control the 153 acres to the north. My idea on the 153 acres is that we would preserve the new Bonneville Shoreline Trail, take its boundary and everything east of that and designate it as a conservation easement or an area that will be preserved without any opportunity whatsoever for development. We also, in that designation, would allow the gun club ownership of that land. For right now, they are leasing from the federal government, and that would preserve their longevity, which is the desire that they want and many community people in the Bountiful area. I'll call this a heat map, but what it does is identifies the slopes in which that 153 acres have across its entire parcel. You'll notice that the area below the Bonneville Shoreline Trail is primarily in that 15-degree slope and less. Here are some pictures that are taken in that parcel below the Bonneville Shoreline Trail. You can see the significance of of its slope and how it's just wide open meadows and beautiful views and vistas. Bonneville conducted a survey, and here's some interesting facts. Which trails do you use? Mueller Park, Bonneville Shoreline Trail, and Holbrook Canyon were number one. Are trails needed? The strongest answer, and by significant numbers, is definitely yes. And then finally, what trail facility do you use the most? And it is the Mueller Park and Elephant Rock trail systems. Both Davis County and Bountiful are active in planning for future trail systems, knowing that that's a high priority for their residents. The way that this can be accomplished is taking this privately held parcel out of the market and placed into the public realm, and then utilizing the exchange to protect and preserve the Bonneville Shoreline Trail on that north parcel. It also allows an opportunity for the gun club, which is significant in the area. So where do we go from here? My hope is that there's interest in what I've described here, and there may be some questions that I can answer. But know this, I have a willing landowner of the 160 acres that would be accommodating in making a transaction with the Forest Service in trading the parcels if there is compensation somewhere along the line. I think there's three ways that could occur. The remaining acreage on the 153 acres, if it were developable, could be used. There could be financial contributions, or there could be a trade for a third parcel that is developable that he could then transact on to make the money that he's looking for, to compensate him for the dollars that he spent on 160 acres. But know this, he's interested in working with us. Thank you for taking the time to listen and watch.